Welcome back to the Sports Zone here on AM 1380 WTYM and Family Life TV. Brought to you in part by Walker Motor Company in downtown Katanning. GMC, we are professional grade. Before I went to the break, I said I was going to address some comments that were thrown my way about an article I wrote last Friday, in which the reaction was, I believe I was called cynical, perhaps immoral, and I believe I was tearing apart the fabric of American youth at one point. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but not as much as you think I would be. I just want to say that the person perhaps misinterpreted the way I was going with it. I like to look at things with a sense of realism, to see things how they really are and not, throw glitz and glamour and live in some kind of fairy tale world that as much as people would like to live in, it just does not exist. My point about this was, and there are charges against Lance Armstrong, the 7-time Tour de France winner. Blood doping charges being brought up against him for blood doping and artificial testosterone being put into his body. What the point of the article was that it was pointless right now to go after Armstrong. That nothing good can come of it. No matter which way you look at it, nothing good will come out of it. And that's what was my point. And let's just get into this. Cycling is widely regarded as one of the dirtiest sports on earth. And you see more American cyclists getting busted. We saw Tyler Hamilton, Floyd Landis, who tried to throw Lance Armstrong under the bus. He did a whole nice big 60-minute interview, which the only time a cyclist will get a 60-minute interview is if he says he has something to do with Lance Armstrong blood doping. But my problem is the Tour, and I guess cycling in general, didn't have a lot to say about Lance Armstrong when he was winning 7 Tour de France's and making cycling relevant. Did you ever watch any sort of a race until Lance Armstrong went on his magical run? Did you know what the Tour de France was before Lance Armstrong went on his magical run? No, and now there's a witch hunt for him against Armstrong, who is widely regarded as one of the most tested athletes of all time. Upward of passing maybe 500 drug tests. And I'm the cynical one. After there was a 2-year probe investigating Lance Armstrong that was dropped earlier because of lack of evidence. Well, let's dig up another federal trial. Let's make another federal case out of it. And I'm the cynical one. With messages that Armstrong has portrayed like, this is coming from Armstrong. I have never doped, and unlike many of my accusers, I have competed as an endurance athlete for 25 years with no spike in performance and passed more than 500 drug tests and never failed one. Okay. That should say something. And I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm not saying that he did do it. I'm saying this is a bad idea right now. 2 things can come of this, both of which are no good. Okay, let's say that he's found not guilty. Best case scenario for Lance Armstrong, he's found not guilty if this thing goes to trial for a blood doping scandal. Through this trial, he's going to have his legacy dragged through the mud again. And if he's found innocent, the anti-doping agency is going to look completely incompetent because all of a sudden they had this big case against Lance Armstrong and they're making a big federal case out of it and they flubbed it. So that'll look great for the U.S. anti-doping agency. And then, regardless, Lance Armstrong is going to look bad. Look at Roger Clemens. He was just found innocent of perjury about lying about taking HGH. Was found innocent of that. Used millions of taxpayers' dollars to pay for this case. He was found innocent. And still, he's going to be kept out of the Hall of Fame. Because it is widely assumed that he took it. Many people believe it. There are people that say they were eyewitnesses to it. He was found innocent or not guilty. Not guilty. And he's still not going to get voted into the Hall of Fame because it's widely assumed that he took this performance-enhancing drug. Okay, that seems like a great scenario for Lance Armstrong. Okay, so not only do you give this perception that it doesn't matter, he's didn't take him to court, he's dirty. So now you have this perception that a champion really isn't a champion until he goes to trial after he retires. And I'm the cynical one. Okay, that was the best case scenario. What happens if he's found guilty? Let's say that he goes to trial, they find him guilty of blood doping and shooting up with testosterone. What have you accomplished? You further prove that professional sports will cover up illegal things as long as the sport's flourishing? This is just like baseball in the 90s. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, home run race, blatantly juicing. Baseball said nothing. You know why? People were watching. And this is just the same thing. You're proving that sports will allow things to, be swept under the rug as long as it's in the public eye. And if he's found guilty, are you going to change all these Lance Armstrong fans' mind? Are they all of a sudden going to be like, nah, he didn't win it? Nope. Cycling fans are going to say, no, he did not win the Tour de France that many times. If they vacate, which is one of the things they can do if he's found guilty, they can vacate his 7 Tour de France wins. Is that going to change your mind? Well, let's look at some of the runner-ups. Because if some of the people say, well, if they vacate those, it automatically goes to the person who came in second. Let's look at some of the runner-ups to Lance Armstrong. Let's go to 1999. Alex Zülle, he's a Swiss rider. He was the runner-up to Lance Armstrong in 1999. He was part of something called the Festina Affair, which means his entire cycling team the year before was suspended for doping. Okay, well, that throws him out, I guess. How about Jan Ullrich? This guy was the runner-up to Lance Armstrong 4 times, 1998, 2000, 2001, and 2003. Very powerhouse rider from Germany. Guess what? He was mentioned in something called Operation Puerto, which was a massive scandal involving a doping network of doctors. Jan Ullrich, runner-up 4 times. Well, I guess we can't give it to him now. Okay, Joseba Baloki, the Spanish rider, in 2002. He was the runner-up to Armstrong in the Tour de France. Guess what? He was also named in that Operation Puerto. Oh, jeez. Okay, we'll go to 2004. Andreas Kolden, another German rider. He'll win because they're going to strip Lance Armstrong of that. Guess what? In 2009, he was accused of receiving an illegal blood transfusion. Well, we can't do that to him then. 2005 then. Ivan Basso, the Italian rider, the runner-up in 2005. Oh, no, he was also named in Operation Puerto. And widely assumed that all these guys dope. So, what have you accomplished? Have you set things right? No. And I assure you, I'm going to be coming full circle in this. And another thing that they can do if he's found guilty is they said they can give Lance Armstrong a lifetime ban from the sport. Just throwing it out there. He's retired. Do you think he cares? A lifetime ban to a guy that doesn't even participate in the sport anymore. Okay, so I'm just trying to find one of these positive things we're supposed to take out of this entire investigation. Still not finding anything. Like I said before, I like to look at things with a sense of realism. And what this is doing is digging up old dirt. And what it is doing is bringing everything to the forefront again and throwing it in front of younger athletes and struggling athletes, saying, you know what, Lance Armstrong, he's widely regarded as taking this stuff and widely regarded as the best cyclist of all time. I mean, maybe if I take this stuff, there's a chance I won't get caught. And then maybe I can get that fame and fortune. And if I get caught, okay, big deal. It's not like any of these guys who were busted for steroids and performance-enhancing drugs. Are any of them doing jail time? No, they're writing books and making millions off of it. See Jose Canseco. Blatant steroid user. Wrote a book about it after baseball. Millionaire. Still looking for one of those positive things in this case here. Okay, I'm going to ask you, the viewer, the listener. Let's say there's something you're really, really passionate about. That you love doing, that you couldn't see yourself doing anything else besides this one thing every day. And someone says to you, I can make you the best at this. I can give you the fame, the fortune, the world notoriety. If you participate in this, you take this substance that is frowned upon in your profession, and you could get caught. Won't go to jail, but you could get caught, and your legacy could be a bit stained. Ask yourself, and if you can say right off the bat, no, I have too much respect for that profession, I have too much respect for myself, there's absolutely no way I would do it. If you're telling the truth and you really mean that, good for you. But I'm willing to say about 90% of people would take a lot longer than 30 seconds to think about it. I'm not saying 90% of the people would do it. I'm saying that they would have to think much longer about thinking about all the pros to this and so little of the cons. That being said, I'm not saying that we should just let this go rampant and just let everybody use anything they want. What I'm saying is quit going back and trying to bust the guys that did it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and it doesn't matter anyway. Start thinking about it right now. Start putting in tests right now that deter people. Do random tests. Do scheduled tests. Find better ways of testing for all these athletes that can somehow get around the testing process. Don't witch hunt people from years ago. It does nothing. It accomplishes nothing. Make a system that is so strict and make a system that is so unable to be warped or found a way around to say, well, that doping thing, that was years ago until this system got put in. That doping stuff, that was for athletes back then when there wasn't a system right now. Because if I do it now, I'll get busted. Find the athletes that are doing it now and come down. Ban them from the sport for life while they're still playing the sport. That is what deters people. Not saying, oh, look, we got Lance Armstrong. That's going to deter everybody. Really? Because Lance Armstrong's still a 7-time Tour de France champion, multi-millionaire, widely regarded as the best cyclist in the world. Is that going to deter somebody? No. What deters them right now is saying, if you do it, you will get caught, and you will be banished for life. That's what deters people. And that's not cynical. It's realistic.